Thank you once again. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. We're for our June installment of our business meeting. And just putting up our PowerPoint presentation here. So we've got a bunch of cool stuff that we're going to be sharing today. Here's our monthly agenda, personal growth, monthly wrap. We're going to have Dr. Jen joining us, special guest Dr. Jen, who has to shoot off to Melbourne tomorrow. So she's just going to share some wisdom with us through the monthly wrap, some personal growth, some convention wrap. There's lots of rapping going on. This is like a Dr. Dre concert with our two leaders sharing their biggest takeaways, Jill Ford and Vicky Drennan. Just a little bit about let's reconnect, what's going on and how to do it. Some new products overview. There's a heap of information in there about the new products that I'm going to be talking about. And this is some additional information to what was shared at our Australia convention. So this is some of the information that was shared at the international convention I'll be sharing with you. So it's a little less compliant in the public forum, but it's good for us to know anyway, and to be able to communicate that in the appropriate manner to people we come into contact with. Upcoming events and questions as usual. So post-convention pumped up. Who's feeling pumped after convention? Yeah. Yes. Awesome.
Definitely.
Inspirational, isn't it? So we certainly do, and it's just an absolute confirmation of the values of doTERRA, and seeing some of the inspirational leaders and staff share their stories and dreams was really cool. And so for the 20% enrollments kits, just so you guys know, we saw a great surge in enrollments last month, especially towards the end of the month. This may be single-handedly thanks to Dr. Jen, as my child screams in the background, and I apologize for that. But we're not going to see that for another 18 months. So I really hope you guys took advantage as much as possible of that enrollment kits incentive. So top enrollers there, we've got Dr. Jen, Jill, who's still doing her own version of Diamond Club outside of Diamond Club, Amanda Hill and Ray Henry. Congratulations to you guys. And we have elite rank advancements of Lorena Bosley, Heather Hands, and Samantha Draper. And when there are elite rank advancements, we tend to have silvers rank advancing. So congratulations, Dr. Jen.
Can we just add in there that we actually had Karen, who's with us too, that rank advanced to elite firing?
Yeah, I realized that. Sorry, Karen. Let me just go back for a second, and I'll no, but yes, Karen Patet, who is also joining us tonight. She ranked advanced as elite and has been doing an amazing job in collaboration with Dr. Jen, and Dr. Jen may have dropped off there. So no, she's still here. There she is.
I'm
I just couldn't see you.
Can we add in there that Dr. Jen actually double ranked the silver?
Yeah, double rank advancement. Yeah. Who? What?
Oh,
who,
yeah. As in,
who cares? What about Premier? Who needs that? Just straight from elite to silver. So, Dr. Jen, please share some words of wisdom.
Thank
How
you.
did you do it?
Wow. Well, gosh, that's quite a welcome. So thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I will try and make it a regular thing to come on Tuesday nights. So basically, I actually have edited my doTERRA website, so it does say a little bit about me and what I do. And so I'm an integrative GP. I run a solo general practice, but I am far from solo. So I work on the team principle, excuse me. While I sip some unmentionable drink. So yeah, I very much believe in the team principle, and Where I've come from with my journey with regards to embracing natural medicine has been a mirroring of my personal development with my professional development, because a big part of my illness is autoimmune disease. And so I have been learning nutritional medicine to assist my patients from very first, when I was highlighted to the fact that there was a strong association between natural food chemicals and behavioural changes, especially in children. And this is a condition called pyroluria. And pyroluria is extremely overrepresented in people with mental health issues. And so as a consequence, I started doing integrative training with a not-for-profit organization called BioBalance that comes out from America each year and brings physicians to train doctors only in the nutritional replacement of this particular condition, pyroluria, which everyone manifests slightly differently. It's like a spectrum, but it can be responsible for various different conditions. Most of them start with A: anxiety, autism, Asperger's, alcoholism, other addictions, ADD, ADHD. And then there's oppositional defiant and bipolar and borderline personality and schizophrenia. And basically anyone who, if they have a family member who has suicided, is highly likely to have this condition. So it was very, very significant to learn about it. And it actually explained a lot about my own personal journey. But as I learned about it, I went and stayed with, one of my girlfriends who's another doctor, an integrative doctor. And, one of the unfortunate things about being a doctor, and this, is translating into my Oz experience as well. It's see one, do one, teach one. So this is how doctors learn. We see one, we do it, and then we teach it. So, my challenge is turning that personal experience that I have with opening up into integrative medicine with balancing that with the right level of study. And one of the things that I've done lots of study with is nutritional supplementation, dietary modification, but I've never learned about herbs or essential oils. So, I do need to know about it. With this mob that was coming over from America teaching us, I've been to the training 3 times since 2014. In the treatment of autism, they speak about use of essential oils. And, one of the doctors that came over, my mentor, Nancy, she's very passionate about oils in her practice. So, the last time I met her was a couple of years ago. And I think shortly after that was when Nicole spoke to me. Or it might have been in between times or something. But because it was, when did I join Nicole? It was like 2017, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago. So, so basically, I say this in my workshops to my patients. I joined because they looked nice, they smelled nice, and I could collect them. So I have a very impressive collection, and it's only just been in the last few months since I had a light bulb moment at the beginning of the year, at which time I recognized that I needed to change some things in terms of my direction that I was going to take myself personally and professionally. And that was incredibly in a catalyst brought about by the current paper that's before the Medical Board of Australia and AHPRA, which is aiming to regulate any practitioners, especially doctors, who, in fact, it's Medical Board of Australia, so it is doctors, but it's permeated out into all the other natural and complementary professions, such as naturopathy, chiropractic, and it's perpetrated by the Friends of Science in Medicine, which I hope none of us belong to, so I can speak freely about this, because it is a big political agenda. So I've had that hanging over my head, and so I have basically decided that what I am doing is I am starting a new business. I actually registered a new business name yesterday. It's called Wellbeing Holistic, and I'm going to fund Wellbeing Holistic through my MLM efforts. And so doTERRA is one of my MLM efforts. I also have 3 other MLM efforts. So that's pretty much me. And so
That's
I'm going
awesome.
for it, and I'm putting it out there that this is like higher level medicine. And I just want to ride the wave and take as many people with me as want to join me.
Yeah. Look, it's inspirational to see what you're doing, and to provide the option for people to say, hey, look, here's a holistic and natural alternative that you can try. And and see how it goes. And you took me on a little bit of a preview of how many people you're able to recommend the oils to on a typical day. I think there was 6 or 7 people you were seeing over a course of a short period of time, and out of those 6 or 7 people, it was like 60 to 70% of those people could walk away with a sample of the oils and to be able to implement them to help them out.
Yeah, so if you would like, I would like to just share a couple of little stories that you probably haven't caught up on, Nicole.
Please. Yeah.
So I had one guy in particular who post-operative bilateral knee replacements, now only 36, and has been basically waiting for knee replacements for a long, long time. So much so that he actually developed some really, really nasty drug and alcohol habits to cope with that. And he was one of my methadone patients. So he, prior to coming to me, had been obtaining street OxyContin and injecting it, and had himself in a very bad way, also a very big pot smoker. And I had a long journey with him. I had to heal a chronic ulcer. I had to, I got that all ready, and he was just about ready to have his knee replacements. Finally found a surgeon who was game enough to operate on him. And he's on multiple drugs, gabapentin, Lyrica, not gabapentin and Lyrica. He was on Lyrica, and then the hospital changed him to gabapentin. But he also was a chronic pot smoker. And anyway, about 6 weeks before he was due for the operation, he came to me, and he had lost his vision and lost his balance. And it was really weird. We didn't know what was wrong with him, but I knew that, and it was escalating before me. He came several times in the 1 week. And so I rang the neurologist on call and got him admitted to John Hunter. But he went down there, and they also couldn't work out what was going on, but they lumbar punctured him, tried to work it out. And eventually they came up with, the diagnosis was just purely related to the fact that he'd been drinking a bottle of vodka every 2 days, or sometimes even every day. And he had this condition called Wernicke's encephalopathy, which is where you can, if you don't recognize it, get irreversible damage of the brain. And when people detox from alcohol and you give Valium, that can actually then make that brain damage permanent. But fortunately, they recognized it, and they gave him IV thiamine. And so he recovered, and he came back to me. But while he was down there, he went through several experiences. He was basically labeled a druggie and a junkie, and therefore not worth helping. Because he had to, the neurologist came around and said, I would have just managed you in the outpatients. I wouldn't have sent you all the way down to Newcastle, because there's no neurologist in Taree, so we have to ship out. But I felt it was sufficiently urgent enough, but they were judging me because here I was recommending a person who had a drug and alcohol problem because of his chronic pain. So anyway, fast forward, he comes back after this admission, and he gets ready to have the knee replacement, has the knee replacement, comes back to me 2 days post-operatively, wanting to get off his pain relief, etc. And he was in my rooms, and his knees were so swollen and tingly. And he also had the same problem of his hands were still tingly, but his vision had returned, and he was walking normally, and he got his balance back from having both of his knees replaced. So the neurological symptoms were continuing to improve because I had him on 3 times a day thiamine and off alcohol, and he was also off pot. But the doctors down there had abused me because I'd given him Valium to help him with getting off pot. But yet he'd gotten through this, and he wanted to get off Valium. So what did I do? I gave him an angsty bomb. And the lavender, wild orange, frankincense, and copaiba. So I gave him one of those.
Which I believe is yet to be unleashed.
We need to do a launch.
It hasn't officially been unleashed yet.
I'm on to it tomorrow, guys. I promise. There's a couple.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry to
keep your eyes peeled for the angsty bomb.
So, get it out there, Jen.
Thank you. I actually wrote it down on the back of Eric Trad's wellness consult that I did today for 5 minutes after work. I just did a quick wellness consult.
Beautiful.
Wish I could do a 5-minute wellness consult. Wow.
So here's the thing, right? When what's happening with me is, because I get so passionate about it and I tell them about it, they go, well, can you sign me up now? And I'm like, okay, well, it only takes 5 minutes. All right. And then while we're at it, let's do this LRP. This is really what you're... And then I say, my team will be in touch with you, and welcome to our community. So it's like, I know I'm not going to be able to follow up. So I so rely on the team, and, you know, building that team, I recognize as being a really important principle. But I'm so hopeful that so many of these patients who we're empowering, see, with this wellbeing holistic and how my practice is going, one of the concepts is a patient advocate, which is someone who isn't medical, but yet they learn the systems and they learn how they can get the best for that patient out of that encounter. And so it takes the place of my technician and my receptionist and does away with telephones at the front counter and just makes the whole thing much more personable. So that would be, in my practice, the person who would be helping them with the doTERRA, you know, helping them with whatever higher level healing products that they need.
And that directly aligns with your, you know, see, do, teach, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's where I rely on the team and the access of, you know, a reputable company. Like, for example, I had another dude to this afternoon who said, well, you know, I don't need to watch a video if you're going to tell me that this is an ethical company. So that's also something that's very important. It's important in being able to stress that to people. That's just seals the deal. And my personal validation, which I also then say, now, if this does not work out, if you do not accept that, that has absolutely no bearing on our doctor-patient relationship. And that is where my transparency statement comes in. And I feel like that's what's given me the ability to step outside what has been an integrative medical practice. But now I'm able to include essential oils, but declare the fact that, yes, there is potentially a business opportunity and an income opportunity for myself and for potentially you, if you're interested. So having that conversation, it's as they're on the agenda, like, you know, yes, you can just be a customer and a user and a lover and all the rest. Or, yes, there is a business opportunity and I'm doing it as a business opportunity. I'm doing it to secure my financial future should my medical registration be cancelled with 2 hours notice, like it was for one of my colleagues.
So, Jen, I thank you so much for sharing how you're integrating it into your practice, and how you have the support of your team, and that personal experience that you had with the Angsty Bomb. That was absolutely empowering and awesome. We can't wait to see that unleashed to the public eye. So Nicole is going to be releasing that tomorrow.
The end of that story as well was that when he came back after the knee operation, I gave him Ice Blue and he rubbed it on both his knees with his numb hands, and he could feel his hands and his knees felt better.
Wow.
For the oils on the spot.
That's awesome. That's so good. Yeah, there's no end to how the oils can help people, and just, you know, to see them in the hands of you know, a trusted doctor in the community, we get to see even more great personal experiences. So really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I think there will also be some people that are really interested in your transparency document as well, so we can share that with other doctors in the community.
Yeah, well, my transparency document, I think, is also going to be a document evolution, because as I mentioned, I do have 3 other MLMs at the moment that I am investing some time in, but, you know, they are in the infancy. I'm testing the machines myself. So I have a machine called a Swiss Biotics IRS, which is a machine that David Wolf has been using twice a day, every day for the last 10 years. And he sleeps on it in his office. So, so all of these sorts of things I'm doing in my practice. Thank you so much. I'm going to go pack and get ready for Melbourne.
Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate it. You're an absolute superstar, and congratulations. Double rank advancement. Very inspiring, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Jen. Round of applause. Well done.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Jen. Bye. Okay, so they're very inspiring, Dr. Jen there, and I'm guessing some of you will be interested in seeing that transparency document that Jen uses with her patients, and would also love to see some more stories, personal experiences come from Dr. Jen. So I'll be inviting her to share that with us. But yeah, it really excites me to see this happening in our team, and yeah, I hope that inspires you guys as well to, you know, to have belief and faith that, you know, we are mixing up or shaking up the medical industry. That's what doTERRA really, what their intention is to do, is to shake up the medical industry and to get some real health back, some health industry back into the sickness industry. So I'm going to be really quick with this happiness advantage principle 4, because I know how much you guys are just loving the happiness advantage. You're reading it, you're listening to it, and I'm being really sarcastic now, but you could.
I love it.
Jill, yes, my biggest fan. Thank you, Jill.
Awesome.
Yes.
The best week ever.
Yes, no, Jill is a big fan, and we often talk about and reflect on it. So, yeah, we highly recommend it. It comes from both of us. It's highly recommended. Get amongst it. It works. So for principle 4, failing up, the principle behind it is to realize that, you know, failure and success it's the same path, and we're required to fail, and failure is inevitable or imminent in our journey in you know, putting ourselves out there. Now, we're going to fall over, but it's up to us and how we perceive that opportunity. You know, do we perceive it as a failure, or do we perceive it as an opportunity to learn and to grow? To give you a really short personal experience in regards to this. Renee and I used to import diffusers, and we imported a bunch of these beautiful bamboo diffusers from China, and they were glass and bamboo. And I think we invested about $3,000 or something like that in these, like a decent amount of diffusers. And 50% of them, or maybe even more, arrived broken. We'd had a bit of success with importing some diffusers, and then we found that it was a really good vehicle to be able to incentivize enrollments and LRP and gift them to people who hosted workshops as well. So these bamboo diffusers, they arrived, and much to our dismay, they were 50% of them were broken. And we became quick to realize that this wasn't a duplicatable practice in our business. How could we expect somebody to go out and invest $3,000 in diffusers with the possibility being glass diffusers, 50% of them being broken? It's not something that others were willing to do. Whereas getting back to basics and teaching people how to believe in doTERRA, how to believe in the opportunity, how to show and share people how powerful these oils are. That's where the power in the business resides. So that's where we retraced our focus back into those bread and butter basics in the business. And I'm going to pass it over to the wonderful Vicky Drennan to begin with, because she's first on the left, to share some of her or one of her biggest takeaways in the dressing gown robe, loving the style. This is how we roll as doTERRA leaders on a day like today.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Take it away. Yeah, absolutely.
I've been hiding behind you for the last little bit, but I am here and I'm nice and warm, and thank you for asking me to speak first, because I would like to go and have a nice hot shower. So thank you. So I have nothing prepared, which is not unusual for me because I just speak from the heart. So if you were to ask me, like you did today, Byron, what my biggest takeaway would be is the importance of connection. That's what convention is about for me. Yes, I can talk about how amazing listening to Nicole Stevenson was, and the guy from APRC. Like, I like that kind of stuff. But I think the stuff that really sticks for me and also sticks for others is that connection, which I think a lot of people are really, really craving. And then they come to convention and they not only connect with people that are perhaps in their downline, upline, whatever line, using that language, but anybody that's around them, and they start to see the bigger picture. So I've found currently, probably not just in my team, but across the board in the different groups I'm in, people are feeling a little bit lost. They're feeling a little bit let down. They're feeling a little bit like things are a little bit slow and all that kind of thing. So I think convention is really, really important so that we can come together and realize what the big picture is. So that's my biggest takeaway, is going to these things, continually encouraging people to be a part of this so they can have more of these light bulb moments, and together as a collective, we can keep moving forward with what the doTERRA movement is truly about.
Off mute. Yes, so
Yeah,
true.
I could see your lips moving, but I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Humphrey B. Bear here, just flapping his gums away.
I forgot about Humphrey.
Yeah, Humphrey's great. He's a good guy. He's almost as good as Blackboard from
I know, Mr. Squiggle. I shared
Mr.
that the other day. Great memory.
Upside down.
Fond memories.
Thank you so much, Vicky. It's so
That's
true,
okay.
and that's what it's all about. Really, is connection. It's I love connecting in with you guys at convention, and it's a busy time, as you saw me rushing around everywhere and trying to spend a bit of time with all of you. But I always love to see you all and catch up and spend the amount of time that we do together. So we have.
I was going to say, you can't be everywhere at once, so you do a pretty good job of that. So I hope everybody had a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome. Who enjoyed pizza? Yeah, pizza. Now we have thank you so much, Vicky. We have the wonderful Jill Ford, who continues, I sent this message to her just a moment ago, who continues to amaze and inspire me, who is going to share her biggest takeaway.
Well, Vicky stole mine.
Did I?
I was going to say connection as well. Like, just, one of the big
that's
things
so
for me
funny.
that I love is I've got quite a few cross-line, like, adopted sisters, basically. And I love getting to catch up with them and see each other. And, so that was one of the things I had down. But look, I do have other things, so it's okay.
Good.
Great minds think alike, Vicky. Now, I do apologize. I have a very hyped up 4-year-old who's refusing to go to bed, so I may not be able to stay very long, but we'll see how we go. I think lots and lots of things for me, I guess, came out, especially in terms of like my goals and where I want to be, and, sort of resetting the focus for my business and my team. One of the big things, though, that came out for me was about vulnerability and about being open and sharing that, particularly with my team and with my social presence. I've had many discussions with Byron about this, but basically I have a very tough exterior, and everything's perfect, everything's wonderful, I'm really, really happy, and I'm always putting on a happy face, and regardless of how I'm feeling inside. And so sort of taking that time to kind of taking that personal development time to sort of look at me and look at where I can grow and what things I need to work on. I think that's been the biggest takeaway for myself, because it's about being like having that connection with my team and having that relatability. But if, I'm not being open and honest about how I'm feeling and what's really going on, then it's hard to kind of make that connection. So yeah, that was my little takeaway. I had other ones as well, but if I say them, I'll start crying. And
That's not a little one. That is a big one. And I'm so proud of you for sharing that.
I'm a crab. I'm a tough crab, but I've got to get to the soft inside bit.
Oh, the
fluffy duck.
is so soft and sweet. You just got to get through that hard exterior.
My account manager keeps telling me, be the fluffy duck, be the fluffy duck.
It's very wise advice. And that's the flavor of the month, I guess, at the moment, is the Brené Brown strength in vulnerability, the courage to be vulnerable and to not be scared about it. Not to be scared. It comes straight back to the failing up principle that we were talking about before. Like just to be open and honest and say, hey, this is where I'm at. I love your support. I love you guys. And this is what I'm working on. I'm human, just like you. We could be human together. So,
Yay.
yeah. No, I really appreciate that, Jill. Thank you so much.
That's okay. Now I'm going to go chase my 4-year-old back into bed. So, bye, guys.
Nighty nights. Thank you. All right. So one of the great things about being a mentor to all you fantastic people is we get to work on some really cool stuff together. So I feel so blessed to, have these epiphanies, these light bulb moments. And I got some feedback from from a couple of team who came to me after convention and just said, look, I realized that I was doing this, and this. And I was like, life-changing moments at convention. You know, this is not unusual. I've had so many life-changing moments at convention, and this is why we encourage people to come along, connect, and to grow together. So let's reconnect in June. What is Byron banging on about now? That's a really cool little image that we threw together there. Feel free to use it and promote to your teams to do this as a collective effort. But what's it all about? How do we do it? So because there was such an emphasis on connection, and, you know, and we also realize it's a reminder at convention how important this connection is, I thought, well, let's echo this throughout June, throughout our teams, and just reach out to them and let them know that, you know, we thank them for being loyal customers, and we want to help you. We want to help you get the most out of your oils in your wholesale account. You know, I'd love to do a free wellness consult or a lifestyle overview with you. So I thought offering Droply, the app for people that are on LRP, is a great opportunity for everybody in the team to be able to offer this. So I have a license for Droply that you guys can utilize, and you get to share that for free, but it is valued at $12. So that's a great little gift that you can easily give to people, and you can share that via SMS and email. Make sure you keep it personal, just to know that people are actually, you care about them. If you don't want to use the Droply app, that's okay. There's plenty of other things that you can offer for people at LRP. It could be a follow-up wellness consult. It could be an iTovi if you have an iTovi scan. It could be an aroma touch technique if you do aroma touch. It could be any other service that integrates the oils that you do as well on the side. For those who also aren't on LRP, so I'm sending out a list. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in our ShareBuild group, post a picture of Santa. I kind of feel like him at the moment because I'm making the list. I'm not checking it twice. I'm just making lists. But I will make a list of people that are on LRP and who isn't on LRP. So if you want that list, I'm more than happy to provide that list for you. So you can use some of the scripts that we've discussed and I've shared. Don't feel you have to use my scripts. They're just ideas. Make it your own, make it personal. Just reach out to me and I'll provide that list for you. I also made a little video this morning, which I believe Jody may have looked at some point today. If Jody's still there, I saw her jump on a moment ago. She was going to test that little video out for me and let me know if she could follow it or not. Oh, she may have chatted here. Sure did. How did it go, sis? We'll wait for her to work well, and I learnt lots. There we go. Okay, so I've shared a little vid how to export or to pull out a report from your detailed genealogy into an Excel spreadsheet. Now, this is something that I'm offering you to do if you're going to use these lists. If you're going to use them manually or in a mail merge or however you choose to use it, I'm more than happy to do it for you. But I've also created this little video for you to do it so yourself as well. Yeah, Excel is super complicated and there is a lot you can do. We're just scratching the surface with our little report that we did, but super, super duper helpful. We've used this a lot and we continue to. So that is Let's Reconnect in June. If there's anything that you're not clear about, please ask questions on the post in the group or reach out to me personally. Like I said, I can produce a list. And let's just reconnect in June. Let's just see where people are at. Let them know that we are here to hear them. We'd love to have you as part of Oil Academy in June. If you're not on LRP, this is a great thing that people can be invited to if they can't find the time to do a wellness consult or a lifestyle overview, and just open up your heart and your door to hear what people, how we can help others. To be of service is truly one of the best things you can do in life, I believe. It's it's one of the great things that provides long-lasting happiness, true value and happiness in this world. So we have new products to talk about. So I'm going to go through this really fast, guys. So hang on to your hats and let's do it. Okay. So you had information about these new oils at convention, and you got some really cool recipes, but we didn't get too sciencey. So let's touch on the science a bit. And just to, briefly mention, the science is really cool. Don't feel like you need to know this, but this may provide you with more confidence around the scientific studies and knowledge and experiences behind the oils, to know that you can share them with confidence. But not everybody is going to relate to this. So don't feel you need to communicate this to people just to impress them with big scientific sesquiterpene words and stuff. So turmeric, we know it in its powder form. We have this in lifelong vitality that is really good for inflammation and energy, etc. In an essential oil form, it's even more readily and easily absorbable at a cellular level. So some of its key benefits are it's good for cardiovascular support and brain function and inflammation. Neuroprotective. So this is great for our nervous system. These are ways that we can use it. 1 to 2 drops internally. It's a very strong taste. The first thing we usually do when we get a new oil is we put it straight on our tongue. It wasn't disgusting. So you could put it in curries, you can use it in cooking. There were some recipes that were shared. When you use it in combination with mandarin, this interacts and supports the 5-LOX pathway, which is all about metabolism, ATP process, which is adenosine triphosphate, and how we produce energy. When combined with yaropom, this is all to do with COX-2, which is about our inflammation response. And I'm loving yaropom at the moment. I can't wait to get to that. I openly admit that I haven't really had much experience personally with turmeric, and I haven't used it much, so I can't provide any real personal examples of the benefits that I've gained or seen. But we all know turmeric.
Fantastic in the turmeric latte.
Turmeric latte, yes. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. And what do you just like, 1 drop in some coconut milk, or?
Well, I do up a mix of turmeric and ginger and pepper and coconut oil. And I have that in the fridge all the time. And then I just chuck that in my Thermomix and heat it up and then froth it up. And then I throw in a couple at the end of it. Just before I froth, I throw in a couple of drops of the turmeric in there as well. And yeah, it's pretty strong, but I love it. And a drop of ginger oil as well. And it is amazing.
Kapow. That'll wake you up in the morning. Love it.
It's actually better than coffee, which I never thought I'd say.
Yeah, geez. You're a coffee lover too. I'm going to have to try that.
Mm-hmm.
Good tip. Thanks, Trace. So this is what was shared by the sister mixers, and you'll be able to find that plastered all over social media. So I'm not going to talk about it. Haven't tried it. Give it a go. Share that publicly. No problems there at all. Here's a little bit of information about it, how you can use it, aromatic and internal. And pink pepper. So not much information was shared about this at convention at all, but this is a bit of a jack of all trades, the pink pepper. It's very diverse in nature, and it will interact with most of our body systems, as you can see in this diagram. Recommended to take this internally with water. And this is something that I have been doing lately, using green mandarin and pink pepper in my water. And this is really good for a pre-workout or for energy. And it will stimulate all these systems that are mentioned here. So it's very diverse in its constituent makeup, and you can see across these constituents here with massive names, not even going to mention how they can support different parts of our body systems. once again demonstrating its diversity in supporting our cells and cellular integrity. Apoptosis and mitosis process, which is the generation and regeneration of cells, and also for inflammation as well. So this is going to be really good when partnered with DDR prime. So you could take your DDR prime soft gels with pink pepper and water, which is great for cellular health. So that's a powerful combination that was shared at International Convention. Pink pepper and lime fajitas. So you can get funky with your fajitas and try that recipe. You'll find it once again plastered all over social media in our very compliant Australian market. And we can use that aromatically and for flavoring food. But never fear. Hey, we have a doctor that has shared some amazing testimonials. And once we have a bit more openness in our language when it comes to not the FDA, but the Australian one that I can't think of right now. TGA, sorry, Therapeutic Goods Association. Thanks, Trace. Got me back covered there. So when it's more of our products are TGA compliant, and I did share some examples of how we could, some language that we could use with lavender and easy air as examples. We're going to be able to be a lot more open and make some medical claims with these oils. So stay tuned and talk to your doctor about how they can integrate these oils in with their practice. So Magnolia, I'm not sure if you guys have used it, but I love this. I am big on my calming oils. Sleep and calming and stress management is my big thing with the oils. My major benefit. So I thought, I need more of this stuff. I need more of
Magnolia is my favorite at the moment. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
How good is it?
It
is the bomb.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So for stress.
Byron.
Yeah.
Can I,
go, Nicole.
Can I just offer for some inspiration when you talk about talking to your doctors? We actually have 3 doctors on our team now. So, I really, really encourage people to, just put it out there to everyone.
We've got 4, actually. I've got a doctor on my team, but they don't mix their doctor with their doTERRA because they're in a very, very specialist area, but they do use and love doTERRA.
Fantastic.
His wife to refer people to me through his wife, but he doesn't do anything with it. But yeah, we've got a few doctors who love it. Yeah,
and then there's also Dr. Emily Petherbridge as well as Doctor of Chiropractic, who does integrate them. But Nick, I would love you to share about your persistence in this certain example.
Right now?
Yeah, Jen mentioned it took 2 years.
Sure. So, like Jen's my integrated practitioner, so she's watched my personal journey. And anyone that knows me knows that that's been quite extreme. I've traveled all around the world on my own healing journey. And I, have always, Jen will say I've always kind of been right on the pulse with different things, but have inspired her in different movements. And, I shared these oils with her, although she already knew about them, she wanted to work with me. I think that's a key point about relationships and continuing to build relationships. So she did just mention the lady in the States who had already spoken about doTERRA to her, and then there was another local lady here at that same time. But I was doing workshops at that point, and I was pretty scared, to be honest, to have Dr. Jen Draper at my workshop, but she came along anyway, and everything that I said, she was like, oh yeah, that's it, that's good, and didn't have any objections to any of the things that I was saying at that point, making sure, of course, there were no recording devices. But yeah, to be honest, I'm sure Jen is okay for me to say, because she's very forthcoming in workshops now. that but yeah, it's 2.25 years now ago that I shared the oils with her, and it was just at the beginning of the year, and I think we were by my pool, and a couple of things happened, and I'm like, I got the oils out. I'm like, use that one, and it was like I was really just kind of like reintroducing someone to oils, to be honest. And like her partner had an experience, Jen had an experience, and I'm like, oils, like I'm like, I'm using the oils. Then I'd be around at Jen's for dinner, and I'm like, hey, why don't you just grab that oil and try that oil? And kept on having these experiences, and she's like, oh, that really worked. Or one of the kids or her partner was like, that worked. And I'm like, yeah, that's because they work, So my thing is to just, nose just means not ready yet. It really is, because, Jen's now having these phenomenal experiences, like instant experiences that she's sharing with her patients. And to start with, actually, Jill, it's interesting that you say that, because that's how my relationship started with Jen. I was doing gut health workshops. So anyone that she actually that was interested in natural solutions or essential oils at all, she would point them in my direction, and I would just realign them back to Jen. I just enroll them for Jen, and I'm like, hey Jen, you've got some commissions coming in. And that went on for like a good almost 2 years, and she's like, oh, I like that. You get some free oils there, and until she sort of started having these experiences. And that's why I'm saying continue, my big thing is just continue to work on the relationships. And no, it's just not ready yet. And Jen says that now. She's like, she didn't hear the things before that she was ready to hear today, or now, or 6 months ago when it sort of happened. And now it's just been full throttle. We've been doing workshops down at her practice. The last one was smashing. There was like 30 people there, and a couple of her leaders, Karen's online here, Karen, really stepped up, and I stepped back because I'm about to move abroad. The team's just really pulled together and supporting Jen, obviously being a high enroller, being able to reach a lot of people. Relationships and no for me is just not ready yet. Not yet. Just keep on sharing experiences.
Thank you so much, Nick. And I like how you accentuated the point of, just build the relationship and focus on that. That's what it's all about. The trust, the belief, and just allow that space for the aha moment to occur. The more you push, the more you push away. So
yeah. We've got three GPs just in our rapidly expanding team itself.
Watch this space. Once one finds success and is doing it, then it's just going to be a snowball effect. So
exactly,
we expect a lot more testimonial stories and case studies from that.
Byron, can I just add something in as well?
Yes, please do, Emily. Yes.
Sorry, I'm just driving.
Okay.
But like one of my patients this afternoon came back in, and she had Helicobacter pylori, which is a gut thing. Can you hear me all right?
It's a little bit broken, but yeah, we're getting it.
Actually, I'm about to lose reception going down this dip. So all good. Okay. I will write it in the comments afterwards.
Or as you tune back in, chime in. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So linalool, back to linalool.
Easy as.
So with linalool, you can see here the percentage of linalool in comparison to some of these other calming oils. So these are all calmers. Some of my favorites, lavender, clary sage. I use that underneath my tongue sometimes before bed. It also promotes colorful dreams. It's a favorite for artists. Lavender, it's the Swiss Army knife of essential oils, highly it is antibacterial, a great one for immune boosting and combating of germs for young kids, as well as calming. Ylang ylang, great for the heart, yada, yada, yada. Beautiful oils there. But magnolia, kaboom. Look at all that linalool. No wonder it is so damn calming. And I applied that to Indy at 7 o'clock tonight, just before we started reading the book. And It does calm. She was running around like crazy, and people were saying to me at convention as well when I was presenting, they're like, "Oh, you seem really, cool, calm, and collected." And I was just coated in this stuff. Yeah, behind the ears, back of the neck, wherever I could find a spare piece of skin, I had Magnolia on me. I smelled amazing. So yeah, there's some pricing details. I recommend trying it if you or you are one of those people that struggles with rest and stress management, or you need support. Then give Magnolia a go. Also, really good over the heart for protecting yourself from negative energies, negative people even. So give that a go. We love our lovely, open-hearted Magnolia, sourced from China. Green Mandarin, sourced from Brazil. You guys got that story when you're at convention. But this is really good, for all of our citrus oils that are high in limonene. They are great for digestive support and metabolism and supporting healthy cholesterol levels. Well, wouldn't hear that at convention. Anyway, you came to the right place to hear it today. So, Green Mandarin. It is different to the other citrus in the fact that it doesn't have a typical sweet aroma like most citrus. It smells more like a grass clipping or a little bit limeish. I actually tried it in my Corona the other night. I spent a day getting creative behind the tools, and I had a Corona, looked for lime, couldn't find it, chucked some Green Mandarin in, and it hit the spot. So give that a go if you're into that sort of stuff. But when used topically, you won't be affected by the sun. So it's not a photosensitive essential oil. Safe to use and go out in the sun as an aromatic essential oil. So other ways that we can use it, the elevating mood, like all of our citrus, we can apply it topically and not be concerned about the effects of sun. We can also use it for cellular support. Remember, we mentioned combining it with Yarrow Pom for metabolic support as well. So you can put that into a veggie cap with some Yarrow Pom, 1 to 2 drops of each in a veggie cap, and you get great metabolic support with those two. We have the Green Mandarin Parfait from the Sister Mixer Girls, or toxin-free living or additive-free living, now they're called. And they also shared this Green Mandarin.
It is really yummy.
Chocolate bark. You've tried it, Trace?
Yeah, it's really yummy.
Yum. Awesome. My favorite is cardamom in chocolate. Dark chocolate and cardamom.
No, the parfait one I've tried.
Oh, you've tried the parfait one? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that Adam Berry made on stage. It was hilarious. But yes, I will be trying this one as well with the nuts and the dark chocolate. Absolutely. Won't be using Cadbury. Sorry, girls. It's just not good enough. Too much fun. And these are ways we can use it and some pricing information. And then we have Yarrow Pom. So I did say I was going to go through this really fast. I'm sorry. We have limited time. So Yarrow Pom, Renee's using this in her facial routine. She's combining this with the moisturizer. And I'm actually taking this internally. I felt that I needed to. I was like, I need some Yarrow Pom, and I'm going to share why. So Shamazoline, it sounds like a magical power, Shamazoline, something from Spellbinder. But this is what makes the Yarrow blue. And we have the same constituent in blue tansy as well. But Shamazoline is really good for supporting our skin. So it's a high in Shamazoline. And when combined with the pomegranate seed, we have a great benefit of these two, which I'm going to fast forward a little bit to here. Because when we combine these two, they have a synergistic effort in benefiting our bodies, is the best way to interpret those big words, which you can be my guest to try and remember them and try and spit them out. Beta-caryophyllene and conjugated leoninic acid, Dr. Hill does a really good presentation on that, and I can share that link with you. They're in our Google Drive. So what I did want to talk about and bring some focus to about Yaropom is not only does it have shemazzoline in there, but it also has beta-caryophyllene in there as well, which is it found in copaiba too. And wanted to talk a little bit about a reminder about how that supports our bodies for pain and stress and inflammation. And this is going to aid with sleep and a myriad of other things, getting our bodies into that parasympathetic nervous system state to be able to rest and repair and restore true health. And there are some absolutely amazing stories out there about our even people who were on CBD who have come over to the BCP, the beta-caryophyllene, using copaiba or Yaropom and gaining the benefits. So I've found it's been really good in aiding sleep, and I feel really good using it internally, just 1 or 2 drops in a veggie cap morning and night. And just a reminder, when you might explain how copaiba or how CBP interacts with our endocannabinoid system and how it differs to CBD, is it interacts with our CB2 receptors, which are found mostly through our endocrine system or our lymphatic system. So found throughout our whole body, not just through our central nervous system. So that's the main difference in how it interacts, but it also doesn't have the psychedelic effects that often comes with CBD, because in all of the cases that doTERRA has tested CBD, there's always been THC or remnants of THC, tetrahydro C something back here, cannabinol, which produce the stoned effects of CBD. So we don't get any of that in copaiba and Yaropom. It also contains beta-pinene, which will benefit some of those other things that I was mentioning before about rest and repair and regeneration. And you can see them listed on the side there. We touched on this already, how it synergistically works with the pomegranate seed, which is it's a fatty oil, high in omegas, the pomegranate. And this is why it works so good for skincare and also for cardiovascular support as well. So supporting healthy blood pressure. And this is something that one of the big reasons why I was like, okay, cool. Well, I've got a bit of history in this area in my family. Around cardiovascular health, with my dad having a 5-way heart bypass at a very young age, and having a heart attack and so forth. So it's not out of fear, but it's just out of preventative action that I've chosen to start integrating this into my daily practice to be able to support my cardiovascular health. And one thing that's really special about the Yaropom is there's not many things that we can take in supplementations or even mainstream medicines that have the ability to be able to rejuvenate or repair blood cells. Now, Yarrow has the ability to be able to do this. So this makes it extra special and powerful. So ways we can use it: 1 or 2 drops in a capsule, 2 times a day, which is what I'm doing and absolutely loving it. And you can also use it topically, using in combination with frankincense or cedarwood, or the beautiful Virage moisturizer, as Renee is using in her face care practice. Some info there, how we can use it. And funnily enough, they say you can't use it internally, but I just said you can. So mouthwash. I mostly use this reactively, actually. If I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a niggle, I'm onto the On Guard mouthwash. And I find that it just nips it in the bud every time. So if On Guard's a little bit too strong for your liking, you don't like to just do a drop straight into the mouth or on the tongue, On Guard mouthwash has the same benefits as the On Guard essential oil, except it's a lot sweeter, a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I've recently been using that. There's been a little bit of a cold going around the family, and I was able to get onto it really early and not experience any of the symptoms, or just really mild symptoms. There has been a case study performed with On Guard mouthwash. So this is a clinical study, that has been done with On Guard mouthwash, with results that show 70% of the participants had a healthier pH range after using the On Guard mouthwash. So that's a nice, simple little stat that you can throw in and use for people who you're talking about the On Guard. So no surprises here. Ta-da! Magical pair of these two. They're just like two peas in a pod, and great to use in combination with each other. So all of these were released today as part of the convention kit. And then we have the Yarrow Pom and the On Guard mouthwash that's being released later on in the month. But if you get the convention kit, then you can get them now. So, hey, might be worth it. doTERRA also listened to our feedback about the convention kits, which are 153 PV. And they said, okay, we hear you. You want that to be part of LRP, or to go towards LRP, that 153 points. And it is available through LRP, and those 153 points will count towards your LRP for this month. So that's really good that doTERRA listened to us. So this is what's happening over June. We've also got the Cellubel promotion. I know we've got Clove as our free product of the month for 125 PV. I know this doesn't get everyone really excited, but it is great for mold and does have other uses. But I would be focusing on those new products and communicating those benefits to others, maybe even the convention kit. And then if they did go over 200 PV for that order, that single order has to be a single order of 200 PV, they get a free Cellubel. And Renee's using this to prevent stretch marks in preparation or in being pregnant. She did this last time and did not have a single stretch mark as part of her pregnancy. And she also makes up a peri spray, and she says that if there's one thing that she would recommend to other ladies going through pregnancy and labor, it would be to use the peri spray, which is simply just Cellubel in a spray bottle with fractionated coconut oil to spray downstairs after the birthing experience, because it helps with repair and support down there. So that's a little tip. I won't ever be able to provide a personal experience, but there's a little third party for you. So we also have the Oil Academy. Mentioned that earlier. Invite people along to it, especially people who aren't on LRP. Get interactive in there when people ask questions. Share some comments. It'd be great to have you guys in there along with your teams that you've recently joined or are reconnecting with. Ta-da! No drum rolls there, but just to keep you guys guessing, I've changed the event location for a third time, but this is the definite location. Confirmed today. It is going to be at Magenta Shores on the 23rd and the 24th of August, Friday and Saturday. So save the date. It's going to be awesome. I'm collaborating with Rosie Nerney and Mark and Jody Naylor, Kerry O'Neill, and we're also opening this up to the greater community. We're providing opportunities for Diamonds and Above to sponsor the event, to bring down cost for all of the people who are attending. So it's a great opportunity to connect with your team, have fun, and to walk away with some really empowering personal growth and practical skills on sharing doTERRA. So really look forward to sharing that with you guys, and hope you can all take advantage of that locality, being on the Central Coast, and really looking forward to it. Leadership, 26th and 27th of July next month. Renee and I are going to be there with our new bundle of joy. We'd love you to join us once again. This is for silver and above, but they're also inviting premiers that have recently ranked as premier between January and I think it's June or July. So probably, I think it's up to the event. You'll get an email saying, hey, we'd love to have you at Leadership. So come along, join us up at the Gold Coast, but you'll need tickets. So make sure you get them if you plan to come along. So I'm going to open this up to you guys now. And please share anything that you'd like to share with us. We have Emily back on board and she looks like she's not in a car. So what would you like to, what were you going to share with us before, Emily?
Sorry about that before. Two things. Clove, you mentioned. Get excited about clove. It is amazing because it is one of those herbal things that is phenomenal for parasites. So anyone with kids, teachers, anyone who comes in contact with kids or like really chronic gut health conditions, often are parasites. I was giving clove to people in capsule form for years, and that was one of the reasons I went to doTERRA. Was I went, hey, it's the same shit I've been using for years. Oh, sorry about swearing. But it works really well, and so I give it to patients a lot for parasites. So you might just go, oh, it's clove, mold, whatever. It's anti-parasitic and it's phenomenal. So get excited about that. But what I was saying before is patient came in this afternoon who had Helicobacter pylori, which is a gut bacteria. They went to their GP and had the breath test done and had like a sky high rating. Then they came to me and said, well, how can we get rid of it? And I was like, geez. So I gave them ginger oil, and then I didn't see them for 2 months. Went back to the doctor and their rating was down to 11 out of the several hundreds that it was up at. And the GP went, oh, cool, you what I gave you, did the treatment and it all worked. And she went, actually, I didn't. And he's like, what do you mean you didn't? She goes, well, I saw its contraindications. It was really bad for kids. It's not recommended for kids. I didn't want to give it to my kid. They did the ginger oil. And so then the GP kind of went, oh, well, hang on, I'll give you another test. Are you sure you did it right? She said, yeah, I did. The GP then looked up ginger and went, oh, there's all these articles on ginger and Helicobacter pylori, and it's a really good treatment for it, and it's natural. So if they can see that there's research out there, there's case studies or whatever, they may not be super high evidence, but there's something out there. And if you're saying you want natural therapies or natural options, they are quite open to it if you put it out there. And if they can also see then the results from a blood test or breath test, which is for this one, then they're much more likely to get on board because they can see the change. So definitely put it out there. They're open to it and keen.
Awesome. So just go and contract a digestive parasite. Yep. Go to the doctor, get a prescription. Don't take the prescription and go back and say, I used oils. Are you interested?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Where can I get myself some parasites? Can you hook me up?
Go kiss your kid. Not Indy necessarily, but any child. You might go to jail, but.
Oh, funny. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing it. It's so good to hear these stories and testimonies.
All good.
So keep them coming. Thank you, Dr. M.
Pleasure.
Anyone else, would you like to share any questions?
Byron?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I glanced up before. Hi. And you put up a slide about Yaropom with the price on it.
Yes.
Did
I?
Yeah.
Ooh.
They hadn't put that out there yet. And I went, oh, how much is it? And then you flicked off it again.
Changed it back.
Were you not supposed to show us that?
Too bad. No, I can I can give you the price, no problem. Those slides that I've just shared.
Yeah.
I can give you the Australian version of them, or I can give you exactly what I shared tonight. As long as you just promise me you don't share it publicly. But retail for the 30 ml is 186. Wholesale price 140.
Okay.
140 AU for the 30 ml.
140 wholesale. Cool.
140 wholesale for the 30
I was just
mil.
wondering what it was going to be because I bought the 30 ml from the US, and with the exchange, like it was over 100. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how much, but yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I have some of those slides because I watched Global Convention online and I was doing screenshots.
Oh, you are so naughty like me. I can give you the Australian slides. I'll share that in our share build group tonight.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. But that slide deck will have that price and that slide in it that you mentioned. Nick, I think you were going to say something.
Sorry, I'm just on the flag because here like booking a flight to go abroad, and I'm thinking maybe September, but you just said it was in July. So please clarify that for me.
Yeah. I can't really hear you too well, but I think I know what you're saying. So leadership retreat, that is in July. So that's for premiers, silvers and above. Everybody can go. And then there's a presidential diamond circle, mentor circle that you may be thinking of. That's in September. There's also global convention. So maybe that's what you're thinking.
Okay. So I really want to get my backside to July or September.
So September is for platinums and above. I'm not saying that you can't be platinum by then. I highly recommend that you be platinum by September.
That's qualified.
Can we make that a goal?
This year, but I think platinum qualify for that. Okay.
Yeah, for the presidential circle.
Yeah, I think thanks for explaining that here and now, because I don't know how I messed that up, but that's good to know.
That's cool. So with the Elite Retreat in August, that's going to be really good to come along with your team to just connect at a deeper level. doTERRA is not there. It's just amazing leaders from our community that are sharing in an open-hearted, supportive setting where we can really smash through some things and just be open and vulnerable as well. So Elite Retreat is the next thing to aim for. That's local to us. If you can't make the Gold Coast, so if you can't make the Gold Coast end of July, then never fear. We will share all of the beautiful stuff that we get from Leadership Retreat at Elite Retreat in August.
And just to clarify too, Brian, anybody that qualifies as Premier in the month of June can go to Leadership in July, is that correct?
Yeah, so if you qualify as Premier between January and July, went before the event, which is the end of July, then you'll be sent an email from doTERRA inviting you to attend, because they've recognized that it's a really good opportunity for upcoming leaders to come along to Leadership Retreat. And it's a bit, they want more than just the silvers and above to come along and soak up the goodness. Yeah. Good questions, guys. Good questions and feedback and everything. Thank you so much for your time. And if nobody has any more to add or ask, then I might close off our call. And I really loved having you all tonight. It's very enjoyable. Hope you got something out of it. And next time you see me, perhaps I'll have a new little bundle of joy.
What's the name?
What's the name?
Douglas? I'm hanging for Douglas. Douglas Fir.
Oh, you were Douglas, yeah.
Or Frankie. Frank?
Yeah, Frank. No, that's not happening.
All I can think is Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, yeah.
Is that like an Aussie thing? I have no idea what people are talking about.
Frank the Tank is from Old School, the movie.
It's actually American, Jill.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an American movie. It's actor.
Jack Black?
No, similar.
Yeah.
That funny guy.
Oh, the one that I don't think is funny. Will
The
Ferrell?
Anchorman. The
Will Ferrell.
Anchorman guy.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
Ah, right.
I don't think he's funny either, Jill.
I know. That's why I love you.
But it was a great movie.
Yeah, Old School is a good movie. But no, sorry, no spoilers. It's only Renee and I that know.
And Indy.
Nope, not even Indy.
Well, she'd spill it. She'd be running around
Exactly.
saying,
Oh yeah, Lizzie spilled that I was pregnant when I was pregnant to people. She ran up to someone and was like, "Mummy's got a baby in her belly." And I'm like, "You're not supposed to tell people."
Yep, no, we know that Indy is very vocal and social, so we haven't spilt the beans to her even.
Good luck.
Thank you so much, guys.
good luck, good luck.
Love you
Enjoy
all.
the time.
Speak soon.
Thanks, Byron. Ciao.
Bye.